there, everybody. I'm Donna from Stamping Fun with Donna, and I am finally live with you again today. So I had mentioned I had done a quick live and let you know that I had moved, and no longer do I stamp in a sunroom because I don't have a sunroom anymore. But I'm in my new house in Old Town Alexandria. I'm loving every minute of it. But I'm finally got my stuff ready and I'm ready to share with you again, and I'm really excited to be able to do so. Let me make sure that the volume is up high. Yeah, it could be higher. There we go. Okay, I think that'll be better for the volume. Okay, so here we go. What we are going to be doing today is to be doing a card with the Daisy set, Daisy Lane. I love this set. I've been waiting to get it. I don't know about you, but I have to budget and I can't get everything that I want at the same time. So I budget for things, and I've been waiting to get this set, and I finally was able to get it. And I was really excited to be able to get that. So that's what we're going to be doing today. The background is an interesting background. It is a watercolor. And every time you do this, it's going to look different because every time you're going to watercolor it a little bit differently. So we're going to be doing that today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll put you down, and hopefully this, excuse my hand for just a second while I face this down. See if we are in camera for just a second. And it's looking pretty good here. All right, so there's my papers, and here we go. I also just quickly want to, at the end, show you another card I've made and give you some of the specials that's going on right now with Stampin' Up, because there's a lot of really good specials. So I thought that we would go ahead and do that at the end. Okay, so what I have here is, and as usual, I'm not going to give you all of the dimensions and sizes, but what I'm going to do is to show you what I do, and then the sizes and dimensions will be on my website. So I went ahead and cut a regular piece of cardstock in half and scored it. So I have a regular card base now using our thick Whisper White. You can use, if you want, regular paper and not the thick, but I think it works better with this, with the thick. Now, what we're going to be doing next is using the watercolor paper. I'm going to admit, because I'm always real with you guys, that this watercolor paper is expensive. It is 5 by 7, so you can only get one card out of it unless you're making a small watercolor, and it's almost $1 a page, about $1 a piece of paper. So it is expensive. It works really well when you're watercoloring. If you don't want to spend that much money, then you certainly can instead use the shimmery white, which will also hold up. If you want to use the regular Whisper White, you can do that, or the regular basic white, you can do that. It doesn't hold up to the water quite as well, and we're going to be using quite a lot of water. So it's better for something like this if you can splurge a little bit and get either the shimmery white or the watercolor. These are our water painters. They come through to a package. They have 3 different size knobs, or brushes. That's a small one, that's the medium, and we're first going to start off with the large. So here's the large one. You just unscrew it and fill the bottom with water, and you're ready to go. There are places on here where it says squeeze here, and I actually find that it's easier if I squeeze exactly where it says to squeeze. So what I'm going to do here is to just paint water all over this paper and make it very wet to start with. I want to make sure it's nice and wet so that the ink will go everywhere and get the water everywhere. So we want to, and the color everywhere. So we want to make sure this is nice and wet. This is why I like to use the watercolor paper when I can. So I'm going to put that aside now. Now what we're going to do next is to just take the largest block and add some refill drops on it. So here I have So Saffron, Pear Pizzazz, and Blushing Bride. And I'm going to put just a couple of drops of each here. Let me go ahead and shut that so I don't knock it over, because if I don't shut it, I will. And here's the So Saffron, and one more with the Pure Pizzazz. Now, clearly you can do this with any color combination you want. I think these work really well with the Daisy Lane, but you can use anything you want. Now, what we are going to do here is to take the same watercolor brush, find the push ears, and sort of put just a little bit of water, drop a little bit of water onto these colors. You want to keep them separate on here, of course. And then usually what we like to do is to start off with the lightest color. So I am going to start off here with the So Saffron. And I'm just going to, you can drop it on here, you can paint it, you can do whatever you want. And each way you do it, it's going to look a little bit different. One of the things I like to do is to layer it and have darker areas and lighter areas, and there seems to be a little bit of hair right here. Let me just get that out of there. Okay, and then put it in different areas on the paper. Now you can see this is very watery because I have a lot of water on it. So it's sort of moving all over the place. And something else I like to do is to sort of pick it up and move it around and let it get that sort of water edge there. And we'll get more of that later. I'll show you how to do that. Now, when you're done with that color, you just wipe the brush like this all over and go on to the next. So next is going to be the Blushing Bride, and push a little water into it, drop a little water onto it, get it up. And you know what? I had those backwards. Sorry about that. So I started with the Blushing Bride. I was thinking that looked a little pink. And then went on to the So Saffron. And now I'm going to take this and put a little bit darker in some areas like that. And maybe a little darker area right here in the corner. And then we're going to, again, pick this up and move it around a little bit. Let it get like that. Great. Now I'm going to take the brush and just brush it here until it goes clear. And then I'm going to drop a couple of drops onto the Pure Pizzazz. And I'm going to drop one here. And I'm going to drop one there. I didn't mean to do that. It happened, but that's okay. I'm just putting them. You can either drop them from mid-ear or you can put it onto the paper. Either way works. And just put it where you think you want a little bit extra. And I like to have some white areas too, so I try not to fill it all completely in, but I do want it to move around like this and look a little interesting. Now, what we're going to do next in order to move it some more is to use our heat gun. So here's my heat tool. It is a Stampin' Up one. It probably doesn't look like yours because I have had this for probably 15 years. It is still going well. It could have been 20 years, something along those lines. So what we're going to do is just heat up these areas. You're going to see how it pushes the ink around as well. So here we go. And it'll just take a second to start heating. Now we're doing this for two reasons. The first one is to push some of the ink like that. And the second one is to dry it quicker so that we can go ahead and go on with the next part of this. And I think it's really pretty the way it pushes the ink around like that. One thing you want to be careful of when you're doing this is not to muddy the colors too much. So you want to try to keep them a little bit separate while you allow them to mix just a little bit. Let's get some, this is quite the wet piece of paper, so this is just going to take a second, but it'll just make interesting movement on here, an interesting look. And like I said, this is why every time you do it, it looks different, right? Because the water just goes where it goes and you don't have as much control over it, which is part of what makes it so interesting. So I'm pushing that one around to get some darker spots and some lighter spots there. And the same here. I like that rivulet. That's really pretty. And I think we are just about dry here. There's a little bit there that we want to get. And if you turn it, you can see that's pretty much dry. Okay, and I really like the way that came out. Now you can see here, I used the same colors. It looks completely different because every time you do it, it's going to look different. So now what I have next for us to do is to use the Stampin Cut and Emboss machine, which if you follow me, you know I call the Big Boss. Here we go. Let's put this up here, move the ink out of the way, and I'll just have to wipe that off with a cloth a little bit later. So here we go. I am going to take this and I'm going to cut it with the rectangle dies. Now I've taken out 2 dies because I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do it like the sample here, where it's just on white, or whether I wanted to put a background piece of paper behind it. So I have here a piece of green. That's Pear Pizzazz. Nope, I do not want that. So I'm gonna put that aside and I'm going to get this over here so you can see it. Now, as I've said before, when you use the Stampin Cut and Emboss machine, you have the directions on here and how to use it. So we're gonna be cutting. You don't need to read this, you just need to look at the numbers and it'll tell you. So we want 1, 2, 3, a bottom 3. Whoops, I wanna put the piece of paper there first and then cut it out with this rectangle stitch die, which I love and can't do without. I think I'm gonna do it like that because you get some more of the actual pink here. Some of the pink got more into browns, which is pretty too, but that way we'll get some more of the actual pink and some greens. So I think that's, and make sure I get some white. So I think that's where I'm going to put it and take the top number, whoops. Actually, I want to use this one. I had taken out 2 because I was thinking of using the green. So let's make a bigger one rather than using the smaller one. There we go. I like that a lot better. Gives you the white here and then the yellow there and the green over here. Put this on and we're just going to crank it through like so. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to put the Big Boss away, take off the top, and you will see here that we just pop out this stitched rectangle. And look at how pretty that is. That's really nice as the background. Now what we're going to do is to place that on here using Stampin Dimensionals. But before we do that, I want to stamp the greeting in the corner. So I'm going to do it this way, I think. Well, maybe we'll do it this way. I actually like it that way. So when I only got the Daisy Lane stamp set, as I mentioned, this week. So I put together most of the stamps. Here's Daisy Lane. It's so adorable. I think it's $17 for the set. No, it's $23 for the set. And you get all of these stamps. Really pretty and nice sentiments, beautiful daisies, and other things as well. And does come with a set so that you can cut them out. So what I'm going to do is what I did here is I put most of them together. I did not put this one together because I wanted to show you how it goes together. So this is the way that I like to put. I just got ink all over that. So let me just set this aside carefully so that I can, where's my Stampin' Chamois? If I have my Stampin' Chamois handy, I can clean it off. There it is. So here is my Stampin' Chamois. You just wet it and you keep it in a container for other stamp sets. You can buy them separately and then you can just wipe everything off. And then when it gets dirty, what you do is you just wash it under water until it runs clean and it's good to go. Okay, so that's stuck to my hand there. Let me move this out of the way for just a second. I'm going to move those inks further so that I don't drop something else in it. There we go. Okay, so we have the big daisy and we have this saying that I want to use. So the stamps, when they're red rubber, come like this. And one side is one piece and the other side is like this, where it's cut down the middle. And every stamp set is like that. So what you want to do is you want to take this, which is the title. Let me see, like that. so you can see it. And then you take the backing off of this. And you're going to take this and place it exactly in here so that it's centered in here, not too far on any one side. Once you put it down, you can't take it off anymore. It ruins the rubber. So you want to do that as best you can. And there you go. So now that's ready to go. And we have soft suede. Actually, I think we'll go with early espresso because that appears to be a darker area. So I want to make sure that this is dark enough. Now I'm going to take this and put it on my block, which I know I pulled out a block, but I don't see it right now. Ah, here it is. It was underneath my So Saffron. Okay, so we can put it right on here, like so. It's larger than I needed. And then ink it up with the early espresso. Make sure it's inked nice and good. Oftentimes it's best to do that, to ink it once, to stamp it once so you can see how it's inked. And then you want to make it even, go straight down and straight up. And there it is. The best moments in my life happen with you. Now we have, that's why I got a big block, because we also have to use it with the daisy. So I'm just going to wipe this stamp off again with the chamois and take it off and put this one right here. Now this one I think I'm going to ink it up with the soft suede. I actually like the daisies with lighter inks, done in lighter inks. Let's make sure I don't get it on my fingers, which I tend to do quite a bit. And I'm going to take a piece of white that I have here, and I'm going to ink this up. And stamp it off once to see how it is. Looks good. Let me try this. If I stamp it off and then use it, it's a little bit light. Let's go ahead and use the darker. And I'm going to do this one here. And I'm actually going to do a second one without inking it up again. So it's going to be lighter. So the daisies you can use by themselves. You can also use them here. I doubled it up. And I kind of like the way it looks doubled up. Now, usually I keep the dies that I have in the stamp box, but I don't see them here. So what I'm going to do is to look for the dies for just a second. I should be able to have it right over here, and I'll be right back. That should be the daisy. This is too funny, but I don't see it yet. So 1 second, and hopefully it's coming right up. And, oh, I know why. I'm so silly. Okay. All right, so this does not come with dies. I made a mistake there. It actually comes with a punch. It has 2 punches, one for the large and one for the small. So this is the punch. All you need to do is unlock it here and take this, and you want to turn it upside down, and you want to fit it in so that you can see the daisies on all parts. None of it is being cut off. Let me get back up on my knees where I was before so I can see a little bit better. And then we should be able to be good to go. All right, so I was at an odd angle. I was trying to show you, and I was looking at it from the side, so this is much better. All right, so you just want to place it in, make sure nothing's being cut off, and then you can just punch it out. And there you have one of the 2 daisies, and that's the lighter one. We're going to put that one on top. And this one is like this. I'm pretty sure that the daisies don't have a direction. They just, the stamp and the punch go together in any direction. You don't have to find like which leaf goes where or which petal goes where. It all works. Get that one and punch that out as well. There we go. So now we have both of these punched out, and I'm going to put the punch down. And as I said, you could use this just like this if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and layer it like this because I think that's prettier. So to layer it, you can put liquid glue under here. You can put any kind of adhesive you want. I'm actually going to use a glue dot because to me, that way you don't run the risk of the glue dot, of the glue running where you don't want it to be. So instead I'm going to put a glue dot here, and I'm going to put a second glue dot right here, and then I'm going to get off my finger, and then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to move it around a little bit till it's in a spot where I like it, like there. Now, one of the things I like to do with flowers is to bend the petals. So I find if you bend the petals, you can bend them up, you can bend them down, just gives it a little bit more texture and movement to it. And when I double them, I like to bend the top ones up and the bottom ones down, and that way it's got more separation between the elements. And there you go. Then I'm going to take a Stampin' Dimensional because I always have to use a Stampin' Dimensional. It's not possible for me to make a card without one. And then you can put it right in the middle. You can put it on the side. You can put it down here. On this one here, I put it close to the sentiment because of the way I liked the way that looked. But on this one, I think I'm going to put it more in the middle. Just depends on what you think looks the best. Then the very last thing we're going to add to this is the champagne rhinestones. So let me get down here and grab the champagne rhinestones, and I have a large one right here that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to grab it and place it right in the middle here of the flower. You can put anything here. You can put pearls here, you can color the pearls, you can make it look the same, you can do anything you want there, and as long as it's got a little bling to it, it looks really pretty. And then all we have to do is to put it on the cardstock. And we're going to do that by using the Stampin' Dimensionals. So don't worry too much about how many dimensionals you use, because the dimensionals actually cost 1 1/4 pennies. So 1.25 pennies per dimensional. So they're incredibly cost effective. And they make a huge difference, particularly if you're I'm going to be sending this one in the mail. And because I'm sending it in the mail, I'm adding a couple extras so that it doesn't get too smushed while it's on its way to the person I'm going to send it to. So I'm going to put one more layer here. Usually I would put a few less than this, but I want to just make sure that it makes it to where I'm sending it. And then you just need to peel these backs off like so. And here, did I get them all? I did, yep. Okay, and then we take the card and we're just going to go ahead and center this right here. And you've got this gorgeous card that anybody would be happy to get, and that would make anybody smile and make their day. The best moments in my life happen with you. So that's all there is to it. That's a really fun way to do watercoloring and to add a lot of color to your projects. I hope you give it a try. Now, before you go, I do want to just tell you about a couple of specials that are going on. So right now, there's something called Connect, Collect, and Share, or something very close to that. I wrote it down. Let me see if it's this piece of paper that fell down. Yes, Connect, Craft, and Collect through July 14th. If you have a party or an order that is $250 or more, then you're going to get an extra $25 in rewards on top of our generous rewards program. So that's awesome. So if you have a party or put in an order yourself that is $250 through June 14th, not July 14th, June 14th, then instead of getting the normal $25 in Stampin' Rewards, you actually get $50 in Stampin' Rewards. Whatever you are going to get, you get an extra $25. So that's terrific. Then there's another program that's called Join Plus. And Join Plus is because normally when you join as a demonstrator, it costs $99. You choose $125 worth of items that you want for free. And during Join Plus, which is through May 31st, I'm going to just flip you back up. There we go. You actually get more. So you spend the same $99, but instead of, whoops, get that hand out of there. Instead of getting to choose $125 worth of stuff, you can choose $155 worth of stuff. So you get extra free stuff. So that's really terrific. Plus you get me as your upline, and we have a lot of fun, me and my downline. So think about that if you're going to put in a large order, because you can talk to me about it, but you get discounts. And then the last thing is that there's something called United Through Connectivity right now. And United Through Connectivity is that they have downloads. Yesterday was World Diversity Day, and so they have some downloads that you can get for free that give you some beautiful images that you can then print off, and you can color them and use them in your projects. The very last thing I wanted to show you was, as I've said a few times, we just moved, and I've been, of course, very busy making my moving cards. Now, this is an old set that I had from probably about 20 years ago, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like that I have here. So that actually is stamped in Magenta Black and then colored with blends, cut out with a stitched rectangle die, put on a piece of Misty Moonlight that has been run through with the Tasteful Textures background, and then a couple of pearls. So that is actually what my house looks like. It's mirror image, but it's got one door with a window and then two windows upstairs and a attached roof with a or a dark roof with a chimney, and then two attached houses on either side. So that is exactly what my house looks like, which is pretty funny. I've had that stamp set for a really long time, and we just moved here, and if you are a personal friend of mine, you will probably be getting one of those. So I just wanted to share that with you. We are going to be I'll be putting up the dimensions and everything on YouTube shortly, so you should be able to find this video and then be able to find the dimensions and directions there. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.